For cheap D2R items, visit aoeah.com. You get 3% off with the code ARIAT. Check the link in the description. Hello and welcome everybody. This video is all about Smite. We want to clarify which effects work with Smite and which not. In addition, of course, all the important basic information and at the end also some detailed damage calculations. I will soon make a Smiter guide that includes both PvE and PvP, but in general, the Smiter is well known and the attack is one of those one-point skills that every paladin who has unlocked it can use at least secondarily. Smite is a very popular attack because it simply always hits. There is no hit query here, therefore no attack rating is displayed for this attack. Smite can also not be blocked, exception is the assassin's skill weapon block, but the stun that Smite causes still comes through in that case. The attack is also very fast. On maximum speed, the animation lasts 6 frames, which corresponds to a speed of 4.16 attacks per second. The speed depends on the type of weapon carried. With an extremely fast faceblade, we need 65% IAS. With a slow axe on the other hand, for example, an unattainable 259% are necessary, so the choice of weapon is crucial for the Smite-Speed. The speed bonus gained by Fanaticism aura also has an effect on the attack speed. Already at level 20, we only need 8% IAS with the faceblade, instead of 165%. Most weapons already have that much. Now let's see which effects have an influence on Smite or are triggered by Smite. There are mods that are ineffective, others work and get calculated properly, and then there are those that actually work but unfortunately are not displayed in the statistics. Let's first see what does not work. Life and Mana Leech doesn't work, exception is when the cursed life tap was cast, e.g. by Draculs. Deadly Strike or Critical Strike don't work here either, no chance for double damage. Knockback doesn't work, except for the knockback effect on the attack itself. No elemental or magic damage works at all, neither from equipment, charms or auras like Holy Shock. Equipment that increases the damage by fixed values, such as on War Travelers or Max AR Life Charms, also does not count here. The weapon damage and the mod plus % enhanced damage on a weapon itself also have no effect on the Smite damage. Also quite generally the mods for increased damage to undead or demons, no matter on which pieces of equipment they occur. Let's now see what obviously interacts with Smite, because we can also easily see it in the statistics or test it by trial and error. Additional strength points increase the Smite damage by 1% each. Increased skill levels on the equipment are very good for the Smite damage. Smite has no synergies, but gets additional damage by Holy Shield. Here not only the hard skill points are effective, but also every skill point that is added by the items. A Smiter therefore uses combat skillers, which increase both the Smite damage itself and the bonus which comes by the Holy Shield. On the amulet, it's even better to increase all paladin skills at once, because this way the offensive auras get a higher level too. All 3 damage auras, Might, Concentration and Fanaticism also count when attacking with Smite. Increased attack speed counts from the whole equipment including the weapon. Crushing Blow works, finally the Smiter takes advantage of that in Übertristram. As already mentioned, Life Tap is the exception for recovery of life points. The mods Blind, Slow or Freeze target work. The chance to cast spells on attacks or hits works as well. And last but not least, Prevent monsters healing and open wounds also trigger. Now we have a few effects that are not shown on the screen but still work. Namely, +% enhanced damage that can be found on non-weapon items, like on a Fortitude armor or a Phoenix shield. Damage plus X as found on the popular runeword Grief. The damage is directly added to the shield damage, just like the bonus from Holy Shield. So in the end, the calculation for the Smite damage looks like this. You take the base shield damage, add all direct increases and multiply the whole thing with the sum of all sources of +% enhanced damage. The direct increases are the boost from Holy Shield and the extra damage from Grief. The ED multipliers include strength points, the skill Smite itself, the bonus from Fanaticism aura, and further increases from the equipment, so the displayed formula applies. As an example, let's take a full equipped Smiter. The base damage of an upgraded Herald is 46 to 46 damage. Holy Shield at level 40 gives plus 137 to 140, so we have 183 to 186, as it is also displayed on the shield after activation. Here now the plus 400 from Grief are also added, that results in 583 to 586 damage before we calculate the multiplier. Then we add up the enhanced damage. Smite at level 40 gives plus 600%, 170% by the strength points. Fanaticism at level 29 gives us another 526%, and finally another 330% from 40 and the jewel in the COA. Together that's plus 1626%, so in the end that equals a factor of 17.26. 586 times 17.26 equals 10,114. So that's the actual maximum damage of this paladin. The display shows 2599, just about a quarter of the damage. So we leave the Grief damage and the plus 330% by the items out of the calculations for once. We only multiply 186 times 13.96, that results in rounded off 2596. That doesn't correspond exactly to the displayed value due to the display bug. While the Grief damage doesn't show up at all, the damage from the 40 is displayed incorrectly. When I take it off, the calculated value appears. For comparison, some more examples. Without the two items the maximum damage is at 2596. Using 40 but no Grief, we get 3210 damage. No 40 but using Grief, it's an insane 8180 damage. Using both 40 and Grief, we have that 10,114 damage we calculated first. If we had the same shield type with the Runeward Phoenix, we would even come to 12,458. With a Vortex shield, which has less min but more max damage, we would even get out 13,330 max damage. You can already see in the formula itself that the Grief damage is clearly more significant than the damage increase by 40. So it's no big loss if you replace the 40 by Enigma, especially if you consider that you get plus 2 skill points on Smite, Holy Shield and Fanaticism, and also some nice amount of strength. So let's calculate the damage with Grief and Enigma under the same conditions. We get out 9070 maximum damage, so that's a total of about 1000 less than with 40. By the way, the displayed maximum damage with Enigma is 2962, that's even almost 500 points more than with 40. So it's easy to draw wrong conclusions here. Without the knowledge of the formula, an average player can hardly evaluate such choices because of the display bugs. But in practice tests, everyone can convince himself of the accuracy of the presented data. I hope you enjoyed, take care and may the loot be with you.
Come on. Follow me.